tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey there, Grimsters! Welcome back to another AFTERBUZZ TV After Show. I'm your host, Zach Wilson. Guys, if you haven't done so already, why don't you jump onto youtube.com/AFTERBUZZ-TV, where you can subscribe to not just this show, but all of the AFTERBUZZ shows. You can also listen to us on iTunes and SoundCloud. You know, AFTERBUZZ TV puts out over 95 shows a week. I say over because I don't know how many we're at, because we keep growing more and more. And the way that you can help us grow, leave a comment. Let us know what you're thinking.
Oh.
Let us know what you're thinking. And if you are following along at home while we're doing the live stream on YouTube, you can tweet at us using the hashtag #ABTVGrimm.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Zach Wilson, as I said. You can tweet at me during the show at @ZachWilson, THATZACHWILSON.
Oh, am I supposed to
And
introduce
then
myself?
my
Yeah.
co-host
Hi,
here.
I'm Yael.
Now that I'm through with the speech, my co-host here, Yael Tygiel.
Hi. You can follow or tweet at me at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. I've got my phone for the tweets. I got the chat roll going. You guys are amazing.
You should actually mainly tweet at Yael. You can tweet at me and I'll get back to you
I was
later.
like, where is your phone?
I have left my phone off to the side.
Yeah.
Trying not to take calls while we're talking about this episode of Grimm, Death Do Us Part.
Yeah. Before we begin, sorry, there are questions about why there are only two of us.
Oh, yeah.
We're on a new day.
Unfortunately, this weekend was the Super Bowl.
What?
If you missed it, I don't know, sports stuff.
Okay.
No. But yesterday was the Super Bowl, so we had to reschedule the show for this week. Unfortunately, Tari and Dylan could not make it to the rescheduled time, but they are wishing us well from home, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They're not sick, so I'm not going to say wish them well. Like,
No,
they're fine.
They're just jerks.
We rescheduled and they couldn't make it.
How dare they?
But we didn't want to deprive you fantastic people of Death Do Us Part. So the quote from this week.
I'm ready.
He felt now that he was not simply close to her, but that he did not know where he ended and she began.
It's a dirty quote.
It's really dirty. It's Tolstoy, though, so it's not that dirty.
Very
I mean,
dirty.
it's pretty dirty. It's Anna Karenina, if anyone was curious. That's where the quote's from.
Yeah.
I mean, it fits. Like, it's this episode's all at least the main themes, and actually even Juliet's story in this is a lot about like connecting with. And, like, how much you really are with your significant other. Mm-hmm. Like, are you really on the same page? If you're lying about whether that's cheating or about, let's say, a big life change.
A big life change.
Are you really as close to this person as you think you are?
Yeah. Are we starting with Juliet?
Yes. Okay. Let's start with Juliet, because that was the best part of the episode. Was all of Juliet's stuff. I wanted more time with it. Mm-hmm. Juliet Hexenbeast.
Yes. Juliet Hexenbeast.
Sure.
Julie Hexenbeast. Let's make it a thing, guys. You figure out how to spell it. Seeing her with Renard, and so we open with her voguing and showing him, and I'm telling you, and I believe that it is not just in my mind, he was turned on by this.
We talked about this last week. It makes sense. He is a Zauberbeast.
Yeah.
Like, he's seeing like his own kind. They have hooked up in the past.
Right?
Just a reminder in case anyone forgot about that storyline from season 2.
Such a good storyline. Because she's so hot. And he is also so hot. And I think that he felt it. Not just that she's attractive, but also
do you
she's
think
like
that is us grafting on their previous relationship because we've seen them romantically entwined? Like, yes, it was against their wills in a way, but is it us just sort of like trying to seeing that again and thinking that it's just going to happen again, or is it that there's genuinely something there, or is it that Sasha Royce is just very attracted to Bitsy Tallak? So
I want to believe that that's where they're going. I want to believe that that's what it was intended, especially because and it may have just be me wanting sexual tension between them, but they're such amazing actors, and I believe that it was intentional for them to feel this tension between them. It was so hot. I liked it a lot. I'm gonna be honest.
If they did hook up, though,
yeah,
there's a weird angle to this because they weren't together. Mm-hmm. His mom came in, made her like them so that they could be together.
So you think that, like,
mommy made me a girlfriend? I'm not saying that's what happened, but it's just a funny angle.
Yes. I thought you were going with the fact that he's been sleeping with Adeline, and so Juliet, as Adeline, slept with Nick, and now he's slept with Adeline, and he slept with Juliet, and whatever.
Well, that's true. It is a crazy little, like, weird...
Hey, Techno Griffin! Yael wants smut. That's new. Shut up. Shut up.
Look, this show can get sexy.
It has.
Yeah.
Had
look,
naked
what you just described was not an imaginary like thing. There's even another level you didn't talk about there because Nick also has slept with those two women.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's not just in my head, guys. This did happen.
Yeah. This is a show where literally you had one character changing into another to sleep with another person, and then they did the reverse.
Show.
That's why I love this show, because they do stuff like that that none other shows are doing.
We were just talking about how NBC is kind of a safe network.
Look, NBC as a whole, any network these days, like network TV is dying. Yeah, like there's no two ways about it. Like,
hashtag mommy made me a girlfriend is a thing now. It's now a thing.
I'm glad. But yeah, so network TV as a whole is sort of like fading away because cable has taken it to a whole other levels because you can take bigger leaps like a Breaking Bad where your main character is a villainous drug dealer or drug maker. You can do Game of Thrones
he's a
where...
cook.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Game of Thrones, where there are literally characters just raping other people on screen, because that's the world that lives in. That network TV will not let you do. And so there's some times where like you have to be reminded that Grimm is a network show, so they can push the envelope with stuff like that. They haven't pushed the envelope yet with like why we kept talking about characters dying 2 weeks ago. Yeah, because. Frankly, right now, and with Juliet turning into a Hexenbeast, to bring it back to what we were actually talking about, the dynamic, something has to give on this show, especially with Wu coming onto the Scooby Gang. Yeah. We are in a weird place now. There are so many people that know, and so many people that they have to go to for this, that now with the team is starting to be overloaded, and there's people filling the same. There's multiple characters filling the same role in the team, and if something doesn't give, the show's going to start crumbling. Yeah. So the question is who we lose. Yeah. I think there was an amazing example of this in this episode when they come to the trailer and Juliet's already there. Yes, exactly. The trailer, which was like this secret place that there was nobody could be in. Now there's a lot of people who have access to it. Juliet does. Wu's talking about how he's just he can go out there whenever. Nick's like, yeah, just use it whenever. But what
everyone
if Wu
has a key?
Yeah, everyone has a key. What if Wu got out there and it was just Juliet? What would that interaction be like? Don't get me wrong, that would be a cool scene. I'd be very interested if it had just been Wu that stumbled upon Juliet there. But at a certain point, there's too many people. Yeah. And not that somebody needs to go or somebody needs to die, but somebody's dynamic has to shift. Yeah. Monroe and Rosalie are great, but they run the risk of what I refer to as the Jim and Pam problem, where their build-up is fantastic, and even them being together for a while is great. But at a certain point, it gets dull.
Yeah,
just like The Office towards the end, like their relationship is great, but when they're together and there's no threat of them breaking up, and I didn't watch the last season, I heard that was the thing, but that's not to the point. Like, but they had to do stuff like that because it got dull. Yeah,
we have a lot of people joining in the conversation in the chat roll. We have Bart who says it's overloaded. That's why they had Teresa leave.
No, Trouble needs to come back.
We also have the gamer girl who says, get rid of Adeline. Somebody wants to lose Hank. People, you're breaking my heart here.
But Hank is like, Hank would be the easy way out because he has been sort of, like, what purpose does he serve right now? If Wu knows, and frankly, Wu's story right now is more interesting than Hank's.
I think that they're not going to lose anyone. I think that if we were going to kill someone, we would have done it. And we had that opportunity. I think that it would be, we just need people's dynamics to change, or people to have different missions, and I think that that's where it has to go.
Yeah, I mean that is partially why Trouble left, because like with Nick back in full force, she's not needed as much. I think that having two Grimms on the show is absolutely something that it can handle, because of what their differences are, and you sort of have to deal with that more. She became very similar to Nick, and that's sort of like why you can't have both. But that's why you also can't have Wu and Hank, because right now they're coming to as Wu sort of like comes neatly into the fold, as opposed to we thought he was going to be darkly into the fold, where he's going to be like angry Wu.
Well, so FatCat0310 says Wu becomes anti-Vesson, calling it now. That could happen.
I mean, it's you know what? It's reasonable stance to take from Wu's perspective, because he's met good Vesson. He has. He met Bud. He met Monroe and Rosalie. He knows those are good people.
Yeah.
But the vast majority are not good. Like, he's just seeing deaths all the time because he works for the Portland Police Department.
Right. I mean, we even have to remind him about eating the cookie. You know, so like, who knows what, other stuff they're going to remind him. Like, he's going to be like, what about this one case that happened? Oh, that's right. It was, the Luçon with the 4 guys. Like, he doesn't know what actually happened there.
Yeah. But just with the cookie thing.
Oh, my goodness.
You ate, the quote was, you ate her cookie. That's why you ate your carpet.
Yeah, seriously.
And it's just like, it doesn't quite... It's not quite dirty, but it has all the elements of it.
In my head, it was very dirty because, Techno Griffin, I think of snut. I think of snut all the time.
That you do.
Yeah.
That you do. Let's actually talk about Juliet's whole situation here. Because, the dynamics conversation go on for a long time because there's a million possibilities of ways the show could go. And that's why I love the show, because it has tons of possibilities. But so she had gone to Captain Renard at the end of last episode, and that's where we can pick up.
Right.
And he immediately knows who to put her in touch with.
Right. With our Henrietta.
I don't know.
Sorry.
But I liked that her struggles in this episode when she blows up the dude's car.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, where some people thought she was going to fully embrace the Hex and Beast thing, it's clear that, at least for now, she's like, I need to get rid of this.
Yeah.
How do I get away from it?
I agree.
But I think there's a moment when she blows up that D-Bag's Mustang.
He was such a jerk.
When he blows up when she blows up his car, I think there was a moment where she was just like, that was cool. I didn't do that. Did I do that?
I really think that's where we're headed with her. I don't think that she's going to hate her Hexenby side for very long. And not to get into predictions, but I think that's next week.
Yeah. I could see that, or all she really has to do is solve like one case with it, or fix like one big problem, and before she realizes that these powers are a good thing.
Yeah, it's super beneficial.
Yeah, it also just makes her character far more interesting, because the vet thing was
This
wearing a little
episode
thin.
specifically, I was like, is she not going to work? Like, does she not work anymore?
The cats and the dogs and the parrots can wait while she deals with being a Hexen beast, I think. Like, I know that the puppies need their shots, but there are other vets.
She hasn't been to work in who knows how long. This whole season.
No, I think we've seen her at work like once or twice.
This season?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think we've seen glimpses of her like getting called at work or something like that.
I feel like she's always, like when Trouble was around, she was like, I'm going to have to babysit, so I'm not going into work today. Like, that's what it was like to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of time that we spend not with them. Like, this is...
Whatever. Don't you use your TV logic. Sorry, somebody pointed out something. I don't know how to say your name. Farisia Lulu. I'm sorry. She said, yeah, remember when you said, well, maybe by season 4 they'll figure out how to turn humans to Vessin in the very first podcast of Grimm.
Did we say that?
Apparently I said that when we speculated that Grimm team maybe has too many, they have too many humans.
Up top.
That does sound like me being like, well, by season 4 they'll make stupid things, blah, blah, blah. And then
it was awesome.
And then it happened. I like to say all sorts of stupid things. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't know I would be right. That's impressive.
Yeah. I mean, you throw out enough stuff against the wall, something's going to stick.
Enough crazy stuff.
That's most of the podcasts I do here at AfterBuzz. Yeah. Anyway, so I do want to talk about the scene where the whole sequence with Nick and Juliet in bed.
Okay.
Because like a lot of people were sending it to us midweek because they posted like the dream part of it online, and we're all just like that. And even in the preview last week, we saw the act. I'm like, that's clearly a dream.
Right. I always said it was clearly a dream, or that it's based on. I had suggested that maybe it's like an instinctual thing of a Hexen beast to fear a Grimm. And so, therefore, she had this dream. Because no one in their right mind would believe, like, as Juliet, would believe that he would behead her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, my thought last week was that Nick saw her Vogue and assumed it was Adeline again, as he would. I do love before all that, though.
Yeah.
They're in bed, and he's like, the exchange is just, what you reading? A book? First of all, that's what?
Yeah.
A book.
Yeah.
And I thought he was going to be like annoyed by that, but in true man fashion,
he was like, okay.
He literally just says, "Can we call that enough small talk?" and goes for it. Kudos, I guess.
I'm sorry. In true woman fashion, it was a book, which translates to, no, it's not happening tonight. I have a headache, or I'm not in the mood, or you didn't take out the trash, or whatever it was. A book. Read that.
Yes, I think that's why I was expecting him to come back with like a what book?
No.
I'm reading How to Be a Hexen Beast 101. God.
Seriously. That dream sequence. I was like, do we need this? I would rather.
It was a cool teaser to have. Like, it was, as much as we knew that it wasn't going to be, like, it was cool to have, and it was a nice little moment. But let's talk about Henrietta.
Yes.
We have very little to go on right now.
We have a fun fact from the chat roll. Fun fact that Henrietta's house is the house from Charmed, the Halliwell house, which I'm going to tell you guys was supposed to be in San Francisco because that's where Charmed took place. How is it in Portland? I don't know if I believe that is the same house, but it might be.
Internet, prove us right or wrong.
Fun fact, send me a link in the chat roll. I will click it.
But... so basically all we know now is that she has the ability to make it so that if you write her phone number or address down, it doesn't last for more than 30 seconds.
And she did the cool house thing where like the door and then it opened and then she was in the other place and it was backwards. That's it. Those are her powers.
But so she has... Is she a Hexen Beast?
I think so. Is there something more powerful?
So far, we haven't seen anyone else that can really use magic the same way, other than like in potions and things. But
that'd be awesome.
So it stands to reason that she would be a hex and beast, but there's no reason it can't be something we haven't met yet.
Wouldn't it be cool if there is something more powerful, more magic, more witch-like?
Yeah.
Or just straight up witches?
I mean, I think the idea is hex and beasts are witches. I think that in the Grimm world...
Yeah, but wouldn't it be cool if there were somebody called
if it was another thing?
Like that hex and beasts were actually the like subspecies.
Interesting.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Because we like started with a lot of the primary species, and then we started seeing subspecies.
Yeah.
But if we went backwards...
That'd be such a like...
That'd be very interesting.
There's a suggestion that maybe, because we thought Juliet was pregnant, and even though she took the pregnancy test, it's possible that she's pregnant while she was Adeline, so the baby is a Hexen beast, and that's why she is a Vessin for now.
That feels more convoluted to me than Grimm would make it, because it's very... First of all, we already did a baby storyline,
right.
A baby Hexen beast story. So I don't think they're going to go revisit it immediately.
Right.
Because the problem with babies on a TV show is that when you...
There's only one problem with babies on TV shows?
The big problem, to me at least, is that when you introduce... Especially on a show like this that thrives on story jumping leaps ahead, you can't do most of the kids' storylines if you introduce them as a baby.
Right.
Because unless you do something like Angel, where where the baby disappears to an alternate dimension for a week and comes back as a 14-year-old.
Or the 4400, where she grew up over the course of a year from she was 3 weeks old and was a teenager. Or on True Blood, where the fairies, every week they jumped. These are the
things that you're forced to do on TV if you want to actually do a full childhood story. Because as much as we love Grimm, it's not going to be around for 15 years.
How dare you? You bite your tongue. Yeah.
Even Grimm, I hope that I don't think that Grimm is going to be the type of show that has we have a 7-season arc, so we can't go further than that. But I think Grimm could go on further, but
10 at most.
But what I mean is, it's not like a capped story like Game of Thrones. Like Grimm, but it shouldn't. It could. 15 years is that's impressive. They can figure out stories for 15 years
easily. I can. I really can't.
No, I mean, the more Grimm, the better. But I just want it to be good. 15 years.
That's true.
And that's the struggle of a show that lasts that long, and why there are very few shows that go on that long.
Right.
Anyway, so I believe we have a great deal to talk about. That's the only quote from Henrietta. So we sort of leave it till next week.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get any Vienna, and that's usually a sentence. So we had it with Henrietta.
It's true. We didn't get any Ellen Victor. I guess they're on a plane.
And because it has been requested via Twitter that I give us a Meisner update, there was no Meisner in this episode.
There was no Meisner. There was no trouble in this episode.
Is that what's going to happen now? We're going to just
check in.
Check in with stuff that doesn't happen.
You might have missed. There's a chance you missed something in a window. There was none of that.
Reminder that you should be tweeting hashtag asking for trouble, as well as hashtag we want Meisner. So good, this tweet. Also, we have from the chat roll, the Gamer Girl 2330 says, how about 5th season for Grimm and a Josh in Trouble spinoff right after? Thumbs up, thumbs up. That was with a lisp for whatever reason. Thumbs up.
Heck to the yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but so we're dealing with all of the Hex and Beast, the witch storyline, but we're also dealing with some ghosts. In this episode,
I did not care. I have told you before, and I will say it again. I feel like the show feels obligated to give us a story of the week, a monster of the week, and I don't think we need one. And I feel like all season, aside from my beloved octopus head, aside from that one, I feel like the story of the weeks have been kind of arbitrary and maybe useless.
I thought, you know what, there have been some really good ones this year. Mm-hmm. And ones that I feel like Grimm has played with very well because they string it directly into what's going on in the characters' lives and like giving them something to deal with. The Chupacabra, for example, I thought was a great way to do a one-off story, but also like because of how Wu sort of got threaded in there, it worked very well. It was very much what Grimm is supposed to be. This one, you're right, there's a sort of like, did you need to do a Vesson of the Week, or could we have just spent more time with Juliet and Henrietta and stuff?
And even, you know, Monrosalie on their honeymoon.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that was like, get them out of the picture for a little while. Again, because I think a big character shift is coming, and they're starting to establish where everyone stands. And then when Monroe and Rosalie come back...
Yeah, I don't know.
But we're not going to get to... We already talked about that.
Yeah.
But let's talk...
let's talk about it, yeah.
How did you feel about... Was there things that you liked specifically, didn't like specifically?
I liked that we got a straight-up Woo's Clues. That he straight up was like, here's a computer, and here's what I found, and here's what we're doing. I'm going to print this, and then we're going to go to the thing, and we're going to find it in the book. And I saw it in the book, and it was like this. Like, yes, Woo's Clues, we got it. We understand your show.
Write that name of the Vesson down in your notebook.
What was the name?
Montag Zumbita.
What'd you call me? Montag Zumbita?
Montag Zumbita.
Sure. I liked that it reminds me of the Alien episode where it wasn't an alien at all.
Yeah, well, this one was grounded at least in an animal of some kind. It was an electric eel.
Oh, okay.
That was what it was built. I wasn't sure, and I went into like the Grimm on Hulu Plus. They have these like character like Vesson breakdown where it's like a minute long, and it's like
awesome.
This like tiniest little backstory on the Vesson.
I love bonus features.
Like almost, but like the main thing that I pulled out of it was the spelling. Of it, and the fact that it's an electric eel.
Okay.
But I thought it was interesting. I mean, I like that's like a creature I would never think to base a Vesson on.
Yeah. I think, and it's interesting that they would, that they're taking, like, water creatures and putting, like it has nothing to do with water, where when we had those mermaids.
Where they had to be in the water.
And
that was cool.
Yeah.
The more types of animals that we start getting into, the more I start to feel like we're going somewhere where they're going to explain why Vesson exist.
You know what I really, really want?
What's that?
A sloth. I really, really want a sloth-based Vesson.
Yeah?
Why not?
As long as it's a giant sloth.
What do you mean?
Like like Mesozoic era giant sloths or whatever. That's probably the wrong era.
I want a sloth, like the kind that makes Kristen Bell cry.
It's the same. It's the same thing. It's just really, really big.
I don't need it to be big. I want a sloth, guys.
Only if Kristen Bell appears in the episode.
She won't be able to handle it. I don't know if you're aware of this. I saw
the video. Anyway. Let's talk about Ghost Seekers.
Okay, which there was an entire discussion in the chat roll. I'm going to scroll up and find it about how it straight up was a total ripoff of Ghost Facers. Ghost Chasers? Ghost Facers?
Ghost Facers.
Ghost Facers from Supernatural. Yeah, apparently we got a whole bunch of Supernatural fans in the chat roll.
I mean, there's a big crossover between Grimm and Supernatural.
No one's going to blame them. Have you seen those boys? No one's going to blame them. But so there was an entire discussion about ghost facers.
I mean, but again, this is what we were talking about. Like, there wasn't anything super strong like that, like tied the Ghost Seekers storyline into the main plot, other than like the basic concept of
the romance
and love.
So I'm going to disagree, and it may be a prediction, but I'm going to say it.
Right.
At the end of the episode, they put the video, it's up online, and they're like, should we be worried? And Renard says, no, there's nothing to worry about. No one believes in ghosts. I think this is a foreshadowing. This is a something. They're setting something up.
Okay.
Because that
sounds cool.
Such an interesting way to take the show.
If we got ghosts?
If everyone is aware of Vesson.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that was what we were sort of like building to at the end of this is that image is posted online. Like the video is posted online, and like there's a side of me that thinks that they might just like sort of brush it away as like, yeah, it's posted online, but like people just think it's special effects, so they just ignore it, and then we ignore it from here on out. It's just a thing. Much like any of the crazy explanations the Portland Police Department has put out, people are like, that's really weird. What's happening by the crime? Oh, they explain it? All right, I don't know.
But I think, so in my mind, it's, okay, I'm going to make a Doctor Who reference. There was an episode with the guy who absorbs people into his body with Moaning Myrtle or whatever. Where, people are putting videos of the Doctor or whatever online, and then a group gets together because they believe it. Conspiracy theorists.
All right.
Even in Rose, the first episode of Doctor Who, sorry guys to super Whovian geek out over here, but like, she goes to that guy's house and then Mickey turns into plastic, but like, that she finds a man who on the internet is like, have you seen this person? The internet is full of conspiracy theorists.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I can't remember offhand the name of the group. So guys in the chat room on Twitter, like, feel free to yell at me, correct me, point, because I think it's just the council.
The council
that there's more that is responsible for, because we see them crack down on when the bank robbers are using their Voga states. So I remembered at the last second there.
And as soon as you said it, like 4 people were like, I think the council's gonna come up.
But the council is in charge of basically shutting that down, so that people don't know about it. But if it's on YouTube, now the internet has it, and the internet, as I'm sure you are all well aware, when it has something, it doesn't let it go.
Right.
So if people latch onto this as proof, I don't know what the council can do. It's the problem with having secrets like this, like massive secrets like this, in the internet era, is that they can only stay secret for so long.
I mean, it surprises me that we don't have more video footage of stuff, and that like Vesson haven't.
But this would be a great way to start that process.
I mean, it takes. It would take the show to a whole different place and change the dynamic again if, Vesson became more like...
Yeah, and we're roughly halfway through this season right now, so it would be the perfect time to just drop that in there. We spend 1 or 2 episodes away from it dealing with the Hexenbeast sitch, and then come back, and then the council reappears, and all of a sudden...
I would even go as far as to put it till the end of the season, because then we have the Hexenbeast stuff to deal with. We have Adeline to deal with. We got to bring Trouble back.
That's a great...
We got to bring Meisner back.
But that's a great pattern for the season to take. If we spend the next 2 or 3 episodes, like roughly 2 episodes, let's say, dealing with the Hexenbeast thing, that sort of levels out, still has some stuff to iron out, but then Adeline shows up just before we can resolve it. Adeline throws a wrench into all that, because now we have double Hexenbeasts running around.
We have gotten so predicty, but okay.
If you yell, you know me. You know me.
Predict away, my friend.
But so we have that. We spent I'd say 3 episodes dealing with Adeline and Victor being in town, the hunt for the baby. Maybe
Meisner
Kelly shows up with Meisner.
Thanks. Why would Kelly be with Meisner?
Because he was protecting the baby.
Okay. And maybe because he went looking for Adeline, he found the baby, and so Kelly was like, "Oh, I'll bring you to her." Got it. Okay. Sorry, guys, keep going.
But then if this video comes back and we get maybe one or two more council little hints, then the council comes back to deal with the fact that the world now knows what Vessen are.
Yeah.
Because that's a season 5 that takes you to a whole new place.
Somebody suggests that Vessen coming out like the vampires on True Blood might take the show to a whole take this route.
Interesting.
Would be a route that the show should take.
Yeah, I mean, you know, several people tweeted me at this. I don't have my stuff in front of me,
nope,
so I can't.
Took it.
Yeah, but so I can't say to specific. So I apologize to those of you that also had this theory. But like, it was crazy because I thought this like the next day after our show, and then 5 people like sent it to me as a theory.
What was it?
What if the keys?
Yeah.
The 7 keys and build a map somehow lead us to the Vessen origin story.
Oh, that would be so good. Sorry about what a weird sound just came out of my mouth, but that's so good. I like it.
Because we talk so much about the Vessen origin story as a thing, and if Vessen get out into the public, then that's like the perfect thing that like the Royals not being Vessen, it would totally make sense why they're after this power, because the Royals have like something special about their blood.
Are we gonna get some gosh darn those censored answers
about why the Royals are special?
Yeah, who cares? They're royal. What do they have to do with Vessen?
But there's something magical about the royal line.
Maybe that's what Henrietta is.
She's a royal?
Yeah. Some other sort of royal. They don't all need to be that one family. There are other families.
Yeah, but we don't know what. But that's the other thing. We don't know what makes them different. We don't know why, other than like it's fun like prince thing to throw in from like Grimm stories.
I'm a prince. Yeah.
Why Renard's blood, Renard being Renard, should just be able to like wake Juliet with a kiss. Like, what is it about him? Because it has nothing to do with him being a Zauberbeast.
Right. Because that is like a shame thing to him.
Yeah.
The people, the chat roll's blowing up and loving your idea. We got a gamer girl likes your theory. Emma Louise says that's amazing. Boo69Bs, hey boobies, says what? Mind blown, that is so good. Frisia Lilu, I'm sorry, I don't remember how I said it earlier. That's what I thought about the keys too. Bart says, is there a key in Teresa's night? Like a knight? I don't know what that means.
The knight. Well, I mean,
her knight.
Her chess knight.
I was like,
I don't think that the chess. I think if they were going to reveal something about the chess knight, they would have done it by now. It's also not large enough to hold a key.
Right.
But we have most of the keys accounted for now, I think.
No, we have like 3.
No, there's 7 out there, but the Royals have 4 or 5 of them.
Oh, okay.
Like we know that the Royals have a bunch. And then Nick's got 2, or like our team has 2.
Right. Yeah.
So that would leave. Would that make all of them?
No.
I my math is shoddy right now, but the point is, if we combine all the keys, they are a map that they've been threading through since the first episode of Grimm.
Right.
It has to be important.
I feel like it would be really awful, but possible. They're just going to keep threading it through, and we will not get any answer to like the series finale. And the keys take you to Nirvana. Like,
I mean, it's a storyline that they don't necessarily have to do immediately because there's a lot of other stuff that's fun and great that we can do.
Yeah.
But when they do it, and like they did bring the keys back up this season,
right?
So when and if they if they mention it one more time this season, I think it has to be dealt with season 5. If they ignore it, then it can come back whenever. They're just reminding us that the keys exist. It could be 6, it could be 7, assuming the show, hopefully the show can last that long.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like I've exhausted my crazy theories for the week, although I can always find more.
Wait, we got 4 owned by the Royals, 1 in the wind. 7 keys total.
That's why I knew it was 7 keys. So yeah, so
7 keys, 7 families. theories that it unlocks a giant tomb that the powerful goddess mother of all Vesson is cocooned in. Great one. I don't know how to say your name, but great one. Ronnie. I'm going to say Ronnie J.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That's so cool.
Wait, Nick has 2, 4 royals, 1 unknown.
Yep.
Got it.
Okay. Thank you for confirming that, guys. I appreciate it.
Such great fans.
Okay, so we've talked about the Ghost Seekers, like the basics of the storyline, like the cheating, like family, and then like the creepy electric eel dude who comes back and like is gonna he's killing like a homeless man and or not a homeless man, that was him.
He was the homeless man.
That's what I thought was happening. I thought like this homeless man just like found his way into the room.
Okay, so when we finally figure out who he is, and then Lily shows up, and he's gonna go and take her or whatever, he cuts his beard with a knife, right? He like shaves himself with a knife, and then when we see him, right, later, and he's cut his beard, he is like shaven in a way that is impossible to do the way he was cutting with that knife.
I mean, you never know.
I do know.
Maybe it's because he's electric.
All right,
he's electric. No,
that's enough of that. Yes.
So anyway, I did like the little interplay between like the 2 surviving Ghost Seekers, although I thought it could have been fleshed out more. Like I thought there was going to be a relationship drama between them and the other dude that would have made it very interesting, and then because it'd basically be like a 3rd level to like all the relationship stuff going on.
I did not care about the Ghost Seekers. I did not care.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, but that was the flaw, and that's what I'm saying. If there was more relationship drama, that's what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Because then you start to care. You start to want them to survive.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
That more or less covers the episode. There's a lot of cool Juliet Hexenbeast stuff.
One thing we missed.
What was that?
Renard at the end.
Yes. I was thinking. Well, I guess that's not necessarily predictions, but.
We could take that into predictions if you want to head to predictions.
Let's talk about Renard.
Okay,
so
he's
bleeding from his bullet wounds that are not there.
Yeah. All I wanted to say was that it looked beautiful. No. It 100% leads to predictions.
Okay, let's move it into predictions then.
There it is.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Because yes, there's so many ways.
Yeah, because that could mean anything.
Like, of course, the initial thought that I had when it started happening was that he was dying. That like the whatever snake crazy thing is wearing off, which I guess is where it could go. But like, it wasn't. They weren't open wounds.
No,
it was just blood that was like appearing outside of his body.
It almost felt like a reminder, like, hey, you've been shot. Like, remember that you should be dead. I don't know what that means, but that's what it felt like. It also, my first thought also was that maybe he is dying, maybe it's wearing off, and that because Juliet is now getting more powerful, so in my mind, because it connected to his mother, right? That maybe as she gets more powerful, he gets less powerful.
You think that there's some kind of correlation between Juliet and him?
I don't know why, but that's where I went.
You know, it would stand. There is something to be said that with all the crazy magic and all the unprecedented stuff that had to go into this happening.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, it is possible that somehow the creation of Juliet, because they have like been sleeping with the same people, like back who are switching identities back and forth and all this stuff.
Back to my initial discussion.
That somehow that translates into Juliet Hexenbeast makes Renard not a Zauberbeast or less of a Zauberbeast or just affects him really weird.
Yeah.
That could easily be an interesting place to go.
Right.
And especially if Juliet starts to like her Hexenbeast powers and it becomes you either keep this and Renard dies or you lose them and Renard lives.
Yeah.
Now we've got some interesting. Now you've got a cool plot line.
And people are really agreeing with me that his chest was beautiful.
Except for the blood part.
Whatever. He's a gorgeous, gorgeous man. Other predictions in the trailer. Do you want to tell us what we see?
Yeah, well, we saw there's a bounty hunter in town.
Bounty hunter. Excuse you. Are you dying?
Apparently.
The bounty hunter is here.
Yeah, he shot me with a rubber bullet in the back, I guess. I don't know. So I apologize.
Yeah.
Bounty hunter in town.
Yeah. Is that it?
He's coming to kill Nick on who is that bounty? Do you think it's the Royals?
I think it might be the Royals. That was my thought, was that it's going to be Victor and Adeline, because they are on their way. He ends up going after Juliet and holds her hostage, and that's where my big prediction is, that's what she... so because he threatens Nick, he's like, hey, come to me or I'll kill her. That's where I think she is going to use her Hex and Beastness, because he doesn't know, obviously, and that's going to get... that's how he's going to get...
Nick's going to find out?
He's going to find out, and she's going to realize that she wants to keep her powers.
That it's a good thing.
Yeah, because it's useful. And is it just me, or was the bounty hunter the lion with the scorpion tail? I don't remember what those were called. But that's what he looked like in the promo.
I missed it if they showed that. I missed it. But that would fit in because those are very much warrior creatures. So bounty hunter makes sense.
Yeah.
And I don't remember. I just think of them as Andalites.
They were something like Leo or something.
Well, the Lowens are the lion Vesson, but I can't remember the name of it offhand. Because I must have blinked and missed that part, but like you're right, that could it works, it fits.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep.
I think that's gonna about do it for this episode of Grimm at AfterBuzz TV.
Yeah.
Guys, that was Grimm. Death do us part, but it is not till death do us part here.
Manticore.
How
could I forget that? That's the bad company from Dark Angel.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back again next week with the next Grimm. Back on Sundays at 5 p.m. in our normal slot. Yael Tygiel, if people want to keep up with you between now and then, where can they do so?
They can find me online at yael.tv. That's YAEL.tv. Also on Twitter. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, and other places at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. Yeah.
And you guys can follow me on Twitter at @ZachWilson, ThatZachWilson. Whole bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz. Helix, we just did. Better Call Saul starts next week, guys. I'm Zach Wilson, and thanks for geeking out with us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.